And welcome back to part 10. It's the week of What If, and we are just starting off as we normally do with part 10 of What If Minato Survived. Now, quick to note, there was one thing that got brought up that I did forget in the previous video in the discussions that I did want to address, and that's the whole about Orochimaru being able to obtain a Sharingan. And someone also brought up another good point, too. Whether or not the curse mark was necessary for it, or even activating a Mangekyo Sharingan. So first off, I can't remember who it was, but someone brought up a very good point that he was able to possess a white Zetsu body without a curse mark. So I think that's all the proof you need at that point. He doesn't need the curse mark to do it. But in terms of whether or not he can activate a Mangekyo because of his lack of attachment, unless the person had a Mangekyo prior, I don't see him being able to do it. Now, the issue of Shin Uchiha comes into the fray. And Shin Uchiha is a weird circumstance. He only showed up in a... give me one second. I'm actually getting him up right now. He only really showed up in kind of a guidance special. And though he is animated. They do animate him in that special. He's a former test subject of Orochimaru. After developing a fixation on the Uchiha clan, more specifically Itachi, he took the Uchiha name for himself. He's not a true Uchiha. Right out the gate, he's not a true Uchiha. Now, anyone without without being a true Uchiha can still unlock the Mangekyo, as we saw with Shin and with Kakashi. But believing that piece of blah 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 blah. Shin was one of his Orochimaru's experimental test subjects and followers, and possessed a unique genetic makeup that allowed for his tissue and organ transplantation. Unique genetic makeup that allowed for tissue and organ transplantation with absolutely no chance of rejection. And there you go. That's the reason that Shin is able to do that. And now the question is, how was he able to activate the Mangekyo Sharingan? Well, we don't really know how he did that. That might be because of his unique genetic structure. Through unknown means, he was able to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. They don't know. They don't explain how he was able to do that. They just don't. So my guess is it might have something to do with his unique genetic makeup versus, say, Orochimaru's unique genetic makeup. Orochimaru couldn't do that to himself because his genetic makeup wasn't the same as Shin. Shin is an experiment for a reason. And because of that, that's more likely why he was able to, A, have as many Sharingan as he did, kind of aka Danzo style, minus the Shenju DNA, and B, have as many Mangekyos as he did. They were all the same Mangekyos, too. They weren't... It wasn't like he had Kamui, Amaterasu, Susanoo. It wasn't like he had all these. No, he just had all the he just had all the same all over his body. So with that said, let's actually get into the actual Chunin exams now. The Chunin exams are kicking off. Everyone shows up on time. Everyone who's in the stands, waiting in the stands, is there. The Kazekage is shown up. It says, Lord Okage, thank you for allowing me. Thank you for making the trip. It's great to see you, Lord Third. As with you, Lord Fourth. Now, what are we going to do here? But we have to wait for a little bit. So, we say, all the combatants except for Neji, Hyuga, and Naruto and Namikaze, please head for the stands. And Naruto and Neji are just there and they're squaring off. Now, obviously, there's nowhere near the disdain for Neji and vice versa for Naruto as there is here. Naruto hates the fact that Hinata got the crap kicked out of her, but Neji actually stopped the fight in this after he knew she wasn't going to win and knew that she was just going to keep pushing herself otherwise. So, and Naruto ultimately respects that. They didn't want to hurt Hinata. He actually cares for Hinata. He thinks of her as a little sister. And, Neji just says, I won't say I believe in fate, Naruto, but... And his philosophy on fate is probably a little different here, too. He probably still has an idea of fate, but the fact that his dad is still alive probably helps him out with keeping sane on that. Maybe he does believe in fate, but he's not preaching ass about it. Fate has designated one of us the winner, Naruto, but to be honest, with both of our skill levels, I don't know which one that is. And Naruto just looks at him and is like, fate, yeah, I don't believe in fate, Neji, but you're right. One of us is walking away from this fight. May the best man win. As to you. And they, square off. And the fight begins. And Naruto obviously isn't going to rush in immediately. He makes a couple clones and they rush in. Neji just, pops them out of existence before Naruto just suddenly wind style, great breakthrough. He gets out of the way. Wind style, Gale Palm. You'll have to do better than that, Naruto. All of a sudden, more clones are surrounding him, and, they come rushing in. With his Byakugan, it's like, it's no use. I know which one's the real you. Until he sees that there are other clones with more chakra. And the chakra levels are inconsistent until he realizes what the technique he's about to use is. And Neji, before he can get to the real Naruto, is like, crap. The exploding shadow clone jutsu! Gotcha! And then they explode, only for Neji to be surrounded in a rotation circle. Hiyashi is like, again, what the hell is... I know how it's spelled. It's basically Hiyashi, but with a Z. Hold on. Hiyashi, Hyuga. Okay, that's Hiyashi. So his brother's name was... I'm going to find this freaking name. Because it's bothering the hell out of me why I can't... Okay. Hizashi. Yeah, it's Hizashi and Hiyashi. Okay, that's why I have so much trouble with it. I knew it was pretty much the same. Hizashi. He looks at Hizashi like, did you... Hey, look, brother. Hey, look, brother. Just because you're not allowed to teach us doesn't mean we're not allowed to learn. And Hiyashi actually kind of just looks at him, and he actually has a smile on his face. He's like, you cheeky bastard. What else did you teach him? Oh, a little of this, a little of that. Because with his dad there to train him, Neji probably is actually much more ahead of the curve here than he is in the original, to the point where Naruto again tries to Gale Palm. You're not the only one who can do something like that, Naruto. Gale Palm, vacuum palm, and they clash. Like, what? And Neji's has to catch his breath because this is still a lot of chakra. We don't know how much chakra a lot of these characters have. We know Sasuke has a large amount. We know Sakura has less than it's Sasuke and Naruto. And we obviously know Naruto's is huge. We actually get the impression Shikamaru doesn't have a very large reserve. Based on how quickly he tires out. Choji has a large amount. We know that. Kiba seems to be around average. Ino seems to be on the lower end. Lee, we really just don't know about because he can't utilize chakra effectively. We don't know about him. And Tenten is just a mystery. Hinata, Shino, Kiba. Kiba seems to be average. Shino seems to be average to a little larger because his insects eat a lot of his chakra. Hinata's doesn't seem to be... Hinata is a weird case because we see her use other techniques. We just don't see her in combat a lot. Hers is probably average to maybe a little bit more or a little bit under. Somewhere in there based on what we've seen. Neji's, though, from what we've seen, seems to be at least average to maybe a little on the higher side. And that's just your basic Konoha 12 there. And we know Kakashi had average chakra reserves, and then he was able to increase them quite a bit as he was trained more. One person, though, brought up a good point that Kakashi actually probably has large reserves, but a lot of it kind of just goes to his Sharingan because it's constantly active. Anyway, that detour over. Neji's huffing a little bit because he had to use both rotation and vacuum palm in succession very quick. And Naruto finds like, all right, fine. You want to do it the hard way? Sure, we'll do it the hard way. And Naruto goes in close combat, and now they're duking it out. To which there's you're a fool. I'm disappointed, Naruto. I thought you would have known better to engage me in close quarter combat. Yeah, well, sometimes it takes a fool to. Sometimes a fool can do things a genius can't. Like, for instance, and he just hits Naruto, who had to basically be there for this to work. So Neji wouldn't just think he's a clone, just to be a distraction. Hey! And all of a sudden, the clone Narutos that he sent to the corner that Neji just forgot about and didn't realize that not dissipated, do a barrier seal and seal Neji in there. And he's like, how about that, huh? I must admit, I'm impressed, Naruto, but you're not you're forgetting one thing. I am of the Hyuga bloodline. And basically he starts hitting it with chakra. Like, what is he doing? And even Minato's looking like, oh, that clever. I always wondered if Hyugas could do that. It's like, what? Tell me, Lord Hokage, what is he doing? Just because of his Byakugan, he's actually able to see chakra and the chakra network, but that chakra is visible exactly, which means he actually can see the fine details in it, and even find the weak points in the seal. In this case, and he just starts hitting the corners repeatedly, the corners that hold that box sealed. And I'm imagining it like a box because there's 4 Narutos forming a corner. And finally just does a rotation, just boom, cracks out of there. Naruto's actually like surprising. Holy crap! It's like, you're within my 8 trigrams, Naruto. Crap! 8 trigrams, 2 pops, forget it. And as Neji goes in for like halfway point of the 64 pumps, Naruto's able to still form a hand sign. It's like, you're not Windstone! And someone brought up the name, like, oh, did I bring up that? Is that the name I used? Shearing Windome! And is that a rotation? No, it's a wind. And Neji has to back off. His hands get scorched by the sheer grinding of the winds. And if I was like, Naruto's now starting to huff too because a lot of his points have been sealed off. He's still got access to his chakra, and if he has to, he can reopen it with the Fox chakra, but he's trying to avoid doing that. Both Neji and him are just like, I'll admit, Naruto, you are quite impressive. Truly worthy of the time. Perhaps worthy of the title of Hokage someday, but not today. Today you lose. And Neji finally just charges in. They go into their final gambit. And Naruto's like, I can't use this technique to its full extent yet, but Neji just hits him, and Naruto actually coughs up some blood. Neji's like, I don't plan to give up, Naruto. You're only going to end up getting worse, injured more. You're only going to get more injured, or hurt. You're only going to get worse, basically, is what he's trying to say. So, gotcha. It's like, what? And then Neji sees in his hand at least the partial Rasengan for him. And I was like, Jiraiya? Did Jiraiya actually successfully teach? He's like, come on, compress it. And for a brief moment, it actually stays compressed before it starts to destabilize. Naruto can sense that. Neji, meanwhile, is like, no, and starts just hitting every point of chakra he can. And amazing, and that's what's destabilizing, I think, the Rasengan. Like, he's actually able to just barely get it, but then destabilize it because Neji starts hitting all his points. Like, crap, Rasengan! And just hits Neji point blank. And obviously, with the Rasengan here is not going to be the same as the original. It's not going to have the same grinding, just drilling into effect it has here, but I liken it more to like a powerful winjutsu. It's gonna hit, it's gonna hurt, and I think more because it's destabilizing, it blasts Neji back something hard, and he just hits the wall, just boom, and Naruto just, and Neji just, they look at each other, jams, and everyone just like bated breath, just, and Naruto's like, all right, crap. I'm gonna need a boost. And then they just focuses on the seal in his head for the fox, and the fox, sees this like, weak brat, shut up, and just he's able to at least undo his seals. The eternal damage is still there, so his physical body still got to be recovering from that, which we know he will, because Naruto and he's an Uzumaki, and his healing abilities are above that of an average human. But he's still just like, it's like, what is chakra? Just what? Sorry. I had to undo all those seals that all those chakra points you basically sealed up. That didn't tickle. And then Naruto finally just does it again, starts to Rasengan. This time though, he's focusing. And he's finally able to compress it, and then he starts up the other technique, which he does a quick hand sign, and then the tornado fist starts to wrap around his hand. And he's just like, give up, Neji, right now. He's just combining 2 techniques into one. Give up, Neji. You've lost. You got maybe enough chakra left for 1 rotation. Maybe one of those vacuum palms, but or a couple more attacks with the gentle fist. But you and I both know you're not going to be able to go much longer. And we both know I can. So give up while you can. And he's just holding it there. And then Neji, Proctor, I give up. Then Neji Hyuga surrenders. The winner is Naruto Namikaze. Yeah, Naruto dissipates the jutsu. Yeah, and everyone's cheering. Yay. And so we get to the Sasuke Gaara fight. Obviously, Kakashi's late. Unfortunately. And here's the thing. We know Kakashi's late a lot of times because he spends his time at the Memorial Stone. But there's no real reason for that here. Or in the original series. What was his excuse for being late? Is it because he just got used to being late? As far as I know, he didn't go there this time around. But maybe he did. I have no proof or evidence for that. So anyway, he's late at the moment. Kankuro bows out of his fight with Shino, which tells you where we're still going with this. But how, you may ask? So now we get into the Shikamaru Tamari fight. That fight's going to go the same. Shikamaru loses because he surrenders, even though he won. And then we get into the Dosu Sakura fight. And at that point, Kakashi and in the middle of their fight, Kakashi and Sasuke do show up. Unfortunately, they show up in the middle of the battlefield as they're going at it. Just like, what? It's like, oh, hi there. We're not running late, are you? We had Kakashi. We're going to have a real talk. Sorry, Sensei. Let's go to the stands. You're lucky. You are lucky. So anyway, the fight continues with Dosu and Sakura. And Dosu obviously tries his sound manipulation. It's not doing anything because I like the fanfic stuff that basically says Sakura knows how it's going to work, so she just put earplugs in, and she charges in, uses one of her new techniques, or it's actually got a name because we see Onoiki use it. So hold on, I've always just called it Crater Fist, but Onoiki. Let's see here. Let's see. What was the name of that technique? And the name of the technique, as far as I know, I don't know. Okay. Come on. Why? There we go. Was it Fist Rock? Really? That's the name of the technique? Fist, where basically you just create a giant fist on your hand of rock and hit someone with it. It's called Fist Rock? Really? Oh, that is such a dumb name. I'm going with Crater Fist. Screw that. I'm sticking with Crater Fist all the way on that. So yeah, Crater Fist. And she just clocks him and knocks him out cold. Well, or nearly out cold. Why didn't it work? I say, huh? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I saw you use this technique in the exam, so I figured when you explained it, I figured this might be a good counter. I was right. And he knocks out. So, obviously, Naruto and Shikamaru run into Gaara, and he takes out the entire lot of that, like those groups of guys wanting him to forfeit. And they're freaked out. And Naruto actually goes and briefly sends a toad. Sends Gamekichi, go and see Dad now. I can't get the stands right now, but go and see Dad and tell him what happened. And so Gamekichi, gets up there and say, well, yeah, no problem, boss. But yeah, don't worry. And he tosses him like a chocolate bar. Thanks. And say, hey, yo, Minato, Gamekichi, what are you doing here? As the fight with Gaara and Sasuke starts to take place. And their fight, honestly, is going to go pretty similar. Sasuke may fire out a couple extra fire jutsu, maybe heat the glass, stand up the glass. But ultimately, there's not much, I think, that would change here versus what changes in the original. It's like, wait, it's my blood. It's my blood! And obviously, you have the sound and Kabta trying to use his... I don't remember the name of the technique, but the technique that basically puts people to sleep. I mean, Gamekichi relays what happened, to which the Kazekage suddenly attacks with gold dust. We know the third Kazekage. Actually, no, he would be the fourth, isn't it? Sorry, I think I called him the third. I believe he's the fourth. Because the third Kazekage is the one with the Iron Stain. He's the one who uses gold dust. And I always forget his name. Scar's dad. Kazekage. I know that. Oh, Rasa. That was his name. Rasa. And yeah, he's got gold dust is his main ability. Now, apparently he also has wind, or he still has, it's controlled through magnet release, but he apparently has access to wind, earth, which there's magnet release usually. And though I don't understand, you'd think lightning chakra would be involved in that. And he has water release, weirdly enough. That must be in the data books. But basically he has all of the abilities Gaara has, but with gold dust. Now, where does it... Yeah, Geku Kenkai magnet release simultaneous usage of earth and wind, which is interesting. I don't get, though... Okay, Arasu was able to form the Eye of Gold Dust, which allowed him to remotely monitor situation. He was proficient in water release transformation, known to have developed a high-pressure water blade powerful enough to break through absolute defense. Interesting. Okay, so we actually have an idea of what this guy is actually capable of. So, interesting. So anyway, the Goldust and Minato fortunately is able to get out of there, but not before the Sound 4 show up, cause the dome to rise, and have the, and Ross's Raikage's maybe got his pressure water blade right there. I could see it being kind of like the sword you see like Vegito use in Dragon Ball Z, something like that, or Goku Black, and he could fire it off, because that's the only explanation I kind of get. We know it's a high pressure water blade, and so Minato and him square off, and it is revealed it's him. But Minato can immediately see there's something off with him. His manner is like, "Sorry, Minato, it's been too long. The sand has been the weakest of the villages for too long now. But we're allies, Ross. Why are you doing this? Why else to see you burn, Minato? You don't deserve your position. It should have gone to another, someone more powerful and someone more worthy than you. But that's neither here nor there. It's time to die, Lord Fourth." And this gold sand the gold dust suddenly emerges, and Minato is, to his credit, just good, just ready to go. Now, like I said, he notices something off about Rasa, and briefly he does notice the tomai of the Sharingan in his eye. Meanwhile, the sand and the sound are starting to invade. Gaara hightails it out of there. Kakashi sends Sasuke, follows in suit. Kakashi sends Sakura, Shikamaru, and Naruto after him, as they've been defending off the ninja. And we will focus predominantly on the Gaara thing before we focus on the Minato thing. As you can see, what I've done here is basically have Orochimaru has access to a Sharingan. He does have one, and he's put the Kazekage under very powerful Genjutsu, and is basically controlling him. He's puppeting him, almost. Not quite like Orochimaru maybe has eyes on, like through a snake, on the situation, but he's not doing like a Yamanaka thing where he's literally controlling or seeing through that person's eyes. But there is a seal out there. It's like, Minato probably can get through the seal if he tries. It's just, he's got to be focused on the fight right now. And the gold dust, for even as strong as Minato is, that gold dust is no joke, because his absolute defense, or Minato's teleportation, means nothing if he can't get the kunai past the absolute defense, or seal past the absolute defense. And so Naruto and the gang are tailing Sasuke. Shikamaru obviously hangs back, stalls for time. Asuma comes, saves him. Sasuke goes through Kankuro and Temari. And then Shino comes and deals with Kankuro as well. And then Sasuke obviously goes in and is fighting Gaara. Now, big key difference here. He does not have the curse mark. Now, we know he got one Chidori off. I will say this. I think with extra training, Sasuke's limit, because Sasuke is stronger overall in this version than he is in the original. So I think he can maybe get three Chidori off overall. So Sasuke ultimately, he hits Gaara the one time. It doesn't do anything. He knows he only has one left, so he does a fireball jutsu to blind him and ultimately come in for the final hit. This one, I think he does land another significant shot to the other shoulder. Unfortunately, the sand still absorbs a lot of the impact. So while he does penetrate, it's like maybe he gets his fingers like an inch in. But it's still enough to actually hurt him. It's like, yes, Sasuke Uchiha, you will be the proof of my existence when I kill you. And Sasuke now is kind of taxed. Just like, damn it, I might be able to get a couple fire jutsu off. Otherwise, I'm screwed. But otherwise, I'm screwed here. And he's like, you're mine! And Naruto comes in and just, boom! Naruto, Sakura, we got your back, Sasuke. Naruto Uzumaki, you really are quite amusing. Well, Uzumaki, not Mikaze. You really are quite amusing, but you're not the one I want to kill. Stay out of my way or you'll die next. It's like, no chance, Sasuke. How are you doing? I maybe got a couple attacks left in me. Can you do an Chidori? I'm taxed out on that. Damn. Sakura, get him out of here. You're not going anywhere. And, Sasuke is the one I think actually, gets Sakura out of the way. Sakura, boom, and he gets hit with the sand. Damn it. Sasuke, Sakura, get him out of there. And she's just starting to pound on her crater fist, getting some of it off, but it's just taking forever. Because she doesn't have like a technique. Like if she had lightning release, it'd be no problem. Sasuke, if he can get any sort of charge to that Chidori at all, he can do it. It'll displace the sand. And he's trying, but Sasuke can maybe at best get like a little bit of electricity going, and it's just and it's kind of weakening the sand, but Sakura's still taking time. You're not getting it. You're not releasing him. Sasuke's head is mine. And Naruto immediately just is standing there ready, and he realizes what's going on. Kurama even goes like, the blasted Shikaku. It's like, Shikaku? The one. And he's surprised Kurama is actually being so. I'm calling Kurama. Obviously, he knows him as the Nine Tails. That Kurama is being so Chad. He's like, the one tail brat. I am the Nine Tail, the strongest of all the tail beasts. But that means there are 8 others. He's the Tanuki of the sand. Crazy and the weakest, but still a crazy, tricky bastard. And so Naruto immediately goes into this one tail form. Then I'm gonna need all the help I can get here. And goes into his one tail form, and the Rasengan's just form. Obviously, the chakra cloak wraps around is what helped him in the Sasuke fight form it. So they just form without a problem. Like, I see you are more like me than I know. You are right, Naruto and Namikaze. It is not Sasuke who will prove my existence. You will. And they just clash. And that's where we're going to end part 10 today, with the two clashing. So Naruto and him are going to go head to head. One-tailed Foxcloak versus one-tailed Shikaku. So that's where we're going to leave off. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.